earlier than most.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association. Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
Movement work is not a spectator sport, so we're gonna come the fuck in. We're doing this together. This is gonna be a conversation that we're gonna have together. I'll start with introducing myself. I am Senator Cynthia Mendes. No longer in office right now. I did run for lieutenant governor, but more than any of those titles, I'm an activist and a movement leader and someone that is doing some deep decolonizing work in my own life and in my own political journey, and I want to share some of that with you. Before I go into some sort of rant, one of the things that I've learned from movement work is that it's important to ground ourselves. It's important to ground ourselves in the larger story of where we are showing up in this larger story. And it's also really important to bring joy in. And so if you are willing, I want to do two things. The first thing is I want to stop and have us just close our eyes. And I want to think about this land that we're standing on. And I can yell, so I don't even need this because I got Puerto Rican voice. I can project, okay? Think about this land that we are on. What did it look like 100 years ago? Who was here? What did it look like 100 years before that? Who was here? With power, without power. 100 years before that, with power, without power. Think of the institutions that got us here to this moment. Think about the rebels and the fighters and the grassroots organizers that got us here. The faith leaders, the scientists, the movement leaders, the radicals, those on the fringes of society. Think about them. Run their faces through your mind, run their names through your mind. If you don't have a picture, sit with the energy that it must have felt like to be on the outside of powerful institutions. Sit with that for a minute. And then know you are participating in a very long story. And we are showing up at this moment, at this time, for people that have the most powerful institutions on this planet have deemed faceless, have deemed nameless, have deemed disposable. And we are showing up right now for them. But in order to do that, we need to tap into the energy of our ancestors, the leaders of our ancestors, and those that have fought before us to be able to do this. It didn't start with us, and it won't end with us. We are part of a larger story of liberation. So I'm gonna have you all open your eyes. Thank you for joining me in that kind of like grounding moment. The second thing that movement needs is joy and a little bit of bravery, which the next thing I'm gonna ask you to do is gonna require both. We're gonna sing a song. And so I'm gonna teach you a song. It's a movement song. You can find it, there's a Resistance Revival Choir, is a Black woman-led resistance movement choir. And they sing kind of old civil rights movement songs and revamp them. Yesterday, an Emory student, a Black woman, was carted off by the police across campus with each limb singing this song I'm about to teach you right now. I'm not a singer, so I'm gonna start it, and then y'all are gonna join in with me. It goes, this joy that I have, they didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, they didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, they didn't give it to me. They didn't give it, they can't take it away. Okay, so it's gonna be this joy 3 times, then they can't give it and they can't take it away. We're gonna do joy, we're gonna do a couple of other things. Ready? Are we in touch with our ancestors? Are we in touch? Okay. Let's do it. This joy that I have, they didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, they didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, they didn't give it to me. They didn't give it, and they can't take it away. How about power? Sing it like you got power. This power that I have, they didn't give it to me. This power that I have, they didn't give it to me. This power that I have, they didn't give it to me. They didn't give it, and they can't take it away. How about peace? This peace that I have, they didn't give it to me. This peace that I have, they didn't give it to me. This peace that I have, they didn't give it to me. They didn't give it, and they can't take it away. We're going to end with love because that's why we're here. This love that I have, sing that you love. They didn't give it to me. This love that I have, they didn't give it to me. This love that I have, they didn't give it to me. They didn't give it, and they can't take it away. Thank you all. Really, really. The reason why I wanted to ground us in that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am, and then why I am so excited and what I believe that you all are doing and what you're capable of doing. Like I said, my name is Cynthia Mendes, she, her pronouns, a former senator in Rhode Island, former candidate for lieutenant governor, activist and movement leader. And I am descendants of Cape Verdean people and Puerto Rican people, both of which deeply colonized islands that have been exploited, extracted, and used by empire for centuries and generations. So it was with deep shock when I entered the State House years ago, believing in the Democratic Party, believing that we could make change in that building, and I'm deeply believing in electoral politics as it was packaged for me. And because I thought democracy was real. A couple of really gut-punching blows that came and that hit me. When I realized that most of the decisions were made well before we ever entered committee rooms by the powerful people that have them behind closed doors, very much like what you're experiencing on this campus. And they happen between politicians and corporate leaders and people with the most money and the most power that will not have those conversations in front of the people that they represent. Another thing is they like to rewrite history. On the top of the State House, there's a mural of Roger Williams being greeted by Native people, the Narragansett people, with a smile and a welcome saying, here, this is your land, this is welcome. They rewrite history. That never fucking happened. And that is the classic tool of colonizers and oppressors. They rewrite history. They make decisions in private. And they levy their power to punish. And I'm sure many of you are experiencing that today. And the reason why I tell you that is because when we look at what is happening, the atrocity, the genocide that is happening in Gaza right now, that is happening in Palestine right now, we are seeing a full-blown effects of unadulterated, unmitigated empire power and corporations and right-wing agenda that has merged itself into left-wing agenda, because let's be honest, the funding that we're giving them is from fucking Democrats. So let's be honest about who's in bed with who and who's running what. And so when I realized that we have two-party corrupt system that are basically on their knees and willing to do whatever the corporations and the most greedy on the globe want them to do, we have nothing left to do but resist. And I want to remind you all of who you are in this moment, because you guys are on the beginning of a beautiful journey. But that journey will bump you toe to toe with institutions of violence. And you will again and again have to choose Will you be on the side of the faceless? Will you be on the side that empire has decided is disposable? Will you be on the side of the people who are experiencing the most violence, even if it gets levied toward you? Even if it comes to sacrifice toward you? Even if they take your title, your position, your future dreams away? Who do you want to be in this story? And you all are showing up today and telling this institution that their millions and their billions don't matter. The people in Gaza matter. That their power doesn't scare them. What frightens you to your bones is that we are looking the other way while children are suffering with no medical care, no anesthesia, in tents and on grounds left to die in Gaza. We are saying that's what scares us. Not their power, not their retribution, not their threats. That doesn't terrify us. What terrifies us is that we will be complicit to empire and the way that it operates. And to be clear, empire takes many names, many titles, many forms, but they operate the same way. The way that's happening in Brown is the same way that happens in the state of Rhode Island in the State House. It's the same way that's happening in DC fucking right now. And that is all exactly, and then what it looks like is thousands of people dying in unmarked graves, legacies and family members and history and love and future. The future that you all are looking forward to that have been snatched from Palestinian youth. So I'm going to end with this. When it gets scary now, lean into it. Remember where you are in the story. If it feels intimidating now, lean into it, because it's going to happen again if you decide that this is who you want to be collectively and individually. And because this is happening from coast to coast, on our campuses across the world, be really clear on what you're doing. You're not just shaking the establishment that runs Brown University. You're hitting them in their motherfucking purses. Whereas the only way that you can ever make these people afraid is hitting them with their power. Think about that strategically, and don't be afraid to double down and hit them with the nerve center of their power, which is usually always their pockets. Don't stop. Don't stop now, don't stop tomorrow, and don't stop for the rest of your lives fighting for the most vulnerable.
Thank you for that. I'd like to introduce Enrique Sanchez to come and speak as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Enrique Sanchez, State Representative, House District 9 in Providence. I wanted to come by today and to demonstrate my solidarity and support with each and every single one of you. Thank you to Cynthia Mendez for that beautiful speech. Like always, we're here all right because... Enrique, a bit louder. Okay, thank you. Just lift the microphone. Okay, thank you. We're all here because we have empathy, because we have compassion, we have an understanding, and we are trying to do our part within the empire to call out the massacre of innocent people in Palestine, in Gaza, in the West Bank, and all across the world. I work with a lot of politicians who don't care about what's happening across the country, across the world. And we have a lot of work to do within the empire. But I'm here because I have been paying attention these last several months. I've been paying attention and showing up to different rallies and protests. But now I am seeing a stiff resistance within many campuses around the country. We are breaking the institutions little by little. We are challenging the power, the corruption that exists within all these Ivy League schools and our government, statewide and federal government. And it's up to our generation, our younger generations, to keep pushing and breaking those institutions, because the empire is starting to realize and notice that we are changing the dynamics. We are changing the dynamics and pushing for left power within our communities in the country, and we can't stop where we're at right now. I've been paying attention and seeing the mass graves of innocent Palestinians, of innocent people, of young people. I believe there's over 50,000, close to 60,000 people who have been killed in Gaza. And we've been putting pressure, those of us who lean more left and are socialists or communists within government, we've been putting pressure on our federal delegation. They don't care. Our federal delegation, our senators and our representatives don't care. They keep accepting lobbyist money, they keep accepting pro-Israel money, a lot of dark money, but we are putting pressure on them and they're starting to feel that pushback. But I just want you all to know that we're going to keep putting pressure within local governments. Believe it or not, there are some politicians who are pro-Palestine. My younger brother is Miguel Sanchez. He was the one that was fired from his position. And I'm very proud for what he did. He stood by his morals and his values. And I want to keep supporting him and keep supporting other folks and other people who are trying to do the right thing. I know it's going to cost us. I know it costs us not just our titles, our positions, our jobs, our money. It's going to take a cost, but I think we're willing to put that sacrifice because we give a shit about people. We give a shit about our communities, and that's what makes us human beings. Thank you, everyone.
Divestment Coalition who was arrested in December for sitting in that building, and thank you. We are still facing charges, but as you might remember yesterday, the BUCC let CPACs know that the community does not stand for the criminalization of peaceful protest, and the community asked CPACs to drop the charges. But more importantly, last night BUCC told CPACs that they stand united with this powerful encampment in calling on the university to divest from the occupation and the ongoing genocide in Palestine. Divestment is the reason we're all here. We're all here because we see the images of men, women, and children being slaughtered in Palestine. We're all here because we see that just this week there were reports of mass graves with healthcare workers, with medical patients, with children. And in these mass graves, it was reported that there were telltale signs of executions, a clear indication that genocide is occurring. And we see this, and we see that our university continues to refuse to divest from this violence. Shame! To that, we say enough. We will not rest until Brown divests, and we will not rest until Palestine is free. While Buck's vote last night was only a small step in this much larger fight, it marks an important indication that this community does not buy CPAC's propaganda that the ACRIP report is insufficient. The community wants divestment, and the community wants it now. As you may have read in the BDH this morning, CPACs in an email earlier this year said that the BUCC is necessarily performative and that she might want to rethink how the meetings go next year. To that we say, it doesn't matter how many community councils or committees you disband or dissolve or change the way it runs. We are going to continue showing up. We are going to continue calling on the university to divest from this violence and calling for justice. Thank you all for being here. I'm so proud to see this wonderful encampment and to support it. And we're going to pass things on to the next speaker. Thank you.
Okay, and the final folks who are going to be speaking today are folks who are actually in this encampment. And I know everybody has seen my face, but I want to introduce you to the people who are helping me get through this encampment, because we have been here, right? We've been showing out for months. I'm horrified that we have to continue to show up to encamp after 61 students have been arrested and 19 students have gone on hunger strike, that our university still has not divested, right? I am horrified. Yay! But these are the people who are showing up and showing out and keeping me grounded and all 120 of us who have committed to encampment. Keeping us all grounded. So with that, I'm going to invite up Anna, who's a public health master's student. Can I get a big round of applause?
Okay, hi everybody. Thanks for being here. Thank you to the speakers. It's really hard to follow after that. Those amazing speeches. But so I am Anna, she, her. I'm a graduate student getting my master's of public health. I am here as an encamper because what's happening right here is public health. Yeah. I came into this encampment not knowing any of the other encampers, and everyone was so friendly and welcoming and just absolutely incredible. I want to say thank you to the people that organized this as well. You guys are awesome. To all the people that supported to make this happen. So it's really just a community of people I'd been looking for at Brown, a group that cares about human rights and the injustices occurring in Palestine. It's been freeing to be in a space that calls what is happening a genocide. That feels compelled to take direct action, that doesn't gaslight or pretend that nothing is happening. Our institution has failed to create spaces of truth and action. Being in this group of community care, this is public health in practice. Yeah. Caring and fighting for humanity is public health. Social justice is public health. Calling for the school to divest from Israeli occupation and those profiting off of the genocide of Palestinians is public health in practice. And this is the world I want to live in. And those who have been involved with this and supported us, they have given me so much hope that that a better world could be possible, that we can create something better. Yeah. We will not wait or stand idle. Okay. Sorry guys, DPS, they got a lot of rules. Okay, I'm gonna try to project. This is not my strong suit, as my teachers have told me. Where did I leave off? That we can create something better. We will not wait or stand idle while people die. This institution will not divest without us, because this institution does not have a conscience. We are the ones with the conscience. We are Brown University. We must demand divestment, because it is our responsibility to hold this institution accountable for its unethical investments, for its investments in companies that have led to the complete destruction of healthcare and public health systems in Gaza. For the over 35,000 Palestinians dead, I know there's more. This is just the reported online, what they're saying, and the over 76,000 injured. When I see dead children in Gaza on my phone, I see the students I taught and substituted for. I see their faces in them among the dead. I see my mother, I see my father, I see my sister, my friends, my teachers, the other students. I see those I love. We are complicit till we divest. It is our responsibility as affiliates of this university to demand divestment, and it is okay to be afraid, because bravery is not the absence of fear. Bravery is doing what is right despite the fear. So be brave, because no one is free until everyone is free. So we cannot be free till Palestine is free. And right here, this is the People's University. We have the power, we have the resources, we have the support, and we have safety in numbers. We have 120 Brown community members camping and more people joining as we speak. So we are growing. Please come over and talk to us. Please, there is always room to join the encampment and to join the People's University. Thank you so much. Thank you to the speakers. Thank you all to all the people here. Sorry, I'm getting emotional.
DPS has told me that I am not allowed to use a bullhorn, right? Even though 12 to 1 is the only time at this point that we have been told we can have amplified sound on the green, any individual who uses a bullhorn will have their name taken down and they will be facing additional disciplinary conduct. Shame. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a little bit of a switch because we have a lot of people here. Woo! Woo! Our next speakers, when they say something that's really powerful, they're gonna ask you to say it back with them. So make sure that every person, it's not gonna be every line, but it's so that we make sure that every person on this screen hears what we have to say and cannot ignore us, okay? Woo! Woo! We create our own rights. So with that, I'm gonna invite up Wamia, and she's gonna share why she is encamping with us. Can I get a big round of applause?
Okay. Hi everyone! Can you hear me? Okay. Can I cut my hands like this? Woo! Sorry, don't wanna give them the impression I'm using a bullhorn. Hi, I'm Wamia. I'm a senior in camping. Have been here since Wednesday morning. It's been a wonderful time and also a tough time, but I love that we're doing it together. I'm here to talk about why I'm in camping. This is getting tiring. And it's actually going to require a bit of storytelling, so I hope you bear with me for a little bit. I'm Bangladeshi American, and storytelling is a very big part of our resistance movements, have always been. So I'm going to tell you guys the story of my father escaping the Bangladeshi genocide in 1975 and how that is a catalyst for me being here today. Early 1975, the Pakistani occupational forces began to occupy Dhaka, which is where my family lived at the time. My father, his 5 brothers, and their mom and dad. When they first hear the news of the occupation of the city, the first thing that they know is that there will be a curfew instituted at 9 p.m., okay? They have a few hours, 6 boys to get together and get out. But that's exactly what they do. They take what little things they have and they leave for the countryside where my grandfather's sister lived at the time. They walked hundreds of miles on foot with their children. Unbelievable behavior, but it was what they had to do to survive at the time. So as they're walking, they have to cross the river. And as you can imagine, like thousands and thousands of people are also trying to flee Dhaka at the same time. The River Jamuna is overrun with people trying to get across, to get to the countryside, to get to safety. Now, there are only a few boats that are ferrying people across, and not everyone can fit on all these boats. Again, 6 kids, 2 parents, 8 people need to get on the same boat, and it's not looking like a possibility for my family. Just as they are trying to argue their way onto a boat, one of the boats on the river capsizes, it falls apart, and everyone on the boat falls into the river, in the middle of the river. And so now everyone who's on either side of the shore is wondering if they should get on the next boat. My grandfather at the time made a judgment call. He took the oldest child at this point is 11, the youngest is 2. So he makes a judgment call, he takes the whole family, and he says, we're going on this boat. If we die together, we die together. If we go across the other side, we're continuing on together. They make it through the passage, okay? Fingers crossed, they made it through. Alhamdulillah, they made it through. And once they get to the other side, my dad, he's 10 years old at the time. He has to carry one of his younger brothers on his back. His older brother has to carry another one of his younger brothers on his back. Both of my grandparents are carrying their kids on their backs as well, and they keep going forward. They finally reach my grandfather's sister's house in the village, and once they do, my grandfather, who was telling me the story, says that he just fell to his feet and started crying at the sight of his sister because he couldn't believe that they had survived. He couldn't believe that they hadn't drowned, they hadn't been shot, they hadn't been taken to prison, they hadn't fallen under the curfew or fallen under the occupation. And afterwards, after the occupation left the city, they came back to their home and they were able to return. Okay, now a little bit of a shift as to why I'm here. I can't in good conscience know that my family survived a genocide. My family survived occupation, colonization, imperialism, all of the above, and not be here. Why would my bloodline survive if not to keep things going for other people who face the same issues? All of the trauma in my family that is in their blood, it's also in my blood, it's in my body, it's in me, all that trauma is in me. But I like to think that the resistance is in me too. So can we all repeat that? The resistance is in me too! The resistance is in me too! One more time! The resistance is in me too! That's right, okay. I'm here today to remind all of us that the resistance lives in all of us. The resistance is here at the People's Plaza on the main green. It will continue to be here because we're not going anywhere! Everyone say it with me! We're not going anywhere! Thank you!
Thank you all for being here. We have one more speaker. We're going to do the same thing. But for Wami, can we say it one more time that we are not going anywhere? We are not going anywhere! Okay, I'm going to invite up one more Encamper to talk about why he's here today. And then we're going to do some chanting. No bullhorns needed. So Mick, the floor is yours.
So, hey everyone. Thank you for listening and showing up. My name is Mick, and I'm a senior in the program for liberal medical education, which means I have a lot to lose, but I'm still here, and I was here at the beginning, and I will stay here till the end. And what I'm about to say may feel graphic, but it is necessary for me to say to explain why I'm here. In moments like this, I think of my father, who left my mother's side when I was 6 weeks old to go to Gaza and cover the Second Intifada. I think of the stories he told, the children he would follow through the ghetto alleys to the front, where IDF soldiers would fire high-velocity 5.56 by 45 millimeter rounds into their underdeveloped bones, and the open sewage he watched run through the streets of the West Bank's Palestinian refugee camps from the vantage of the illegal settlements, and the sorrow and slaughter, the blood running through the streets of Bethlehem, running through the dilapidated gutters of every front line he traveled to since. And I remind myself that Palestinians have not seen a single day of freedom for my entire lifetime, nor for decades before. Shame! Shame! And I think of the 2018 Great March of Return, which was a turning point for me, both for my political ideology and my career aspirations, where I watched children and medics directly targeted by IDF snipers through my phone screen. It was those scenes of paramedics carrying wounded children while IDF soldiers kicked their legs and laughed as the medics dropped the children lying in their bloody stretchers onto sharp stones that cemented my desire to pursue medicine. I have made it my life's goal to work towards becoming a physician so that I might one day work in Gaza and similar places and provide care for the invisible, dehumanized victims of our profit-driven hierarchy of exploitation. A hierarchy of exploitation in which Brown and similar institutions sit upon the apex. And I think of the looming famine. I think of starvation being used as a weapon of war, of the tens of thousands of dead innocents, of the mounting list of unlawful airstrikes, of perfidy being committed by IDF commandos, of the systemic destruction of Gaza's medical and higher education systems, of the summary executions, the torture, the ethnic cleansing, and the mass graves, the doctors' corpses exhumed from the courtyards of their hospitals in the past days with bullets in their heads and zip ties holding their hands behind their backs. And I feel compelled to stand against this insanity and our institutions' heinous immorality. And I wonder why the programs and institutions that I once believed so heavily in, that I worked my whole life to achieve, that I dreamed of being a part in, seem to turn their backs on me, offering platitudes, threats, intimidation, and apathy. Looking across this beautiful encampment at all of you, bubbling with love and humanity and a dream of a better world, I recognize that Brown University, the school I dreamed of since 10 years old, has turned its back on us. I look at that building and all I see are cowards. Yet I am lost, torn between calling the bluff of an institution that treats me with contempt, risking my career and financial well-being, and cowing to the Brown administration's threats of financial, academic, and police violence, which is why we need you all here. Show up, and if you are able, join us and offer your ID to the cause. If not, just be here. Read with us, sing with us, learn with us, and love with us. A better world is possible, and this is our moment together to achieve that. I keep asking myself, what do I want to be able to say I did in 40 years when the apartheid wall has crumbled and Palestine is free? And I know the answer. Divest now, drop the charges, free Palestine. Thank you.
My voice? But what do we need Brown to do?
Divest now! 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 Divest now!
here all day.
Bring your friends. Bring your friends.
Bring your friends. So thanks y'all for being here.
Woo!